Hi, welcome to the Gamesplainer. I'm Jeff the Gamesplainer, and today I'm gamesplaining Clank In Space. Clank In Space is a 2 to 4 player game from Renegade Games. It is a dungeon diving deck builder, but it's in space, so it's a spaceship crawling deck builder with a pressure luck element. If you watched my video last week, I was talking about Clank. That's the base game. That's where this game has its origins. Clank in Space came out near the end of last year, 2017. It was a last minute Origins release. I'm pretty sure it was Origins that got released at. And it was kind of one of those buzz ones that people were talking about before it came out, but they didn't even know what was coming out. Then you just knew something was coming, and then it hit, and people got excited about it, and some people got upset that there was such a hype about this game that's just another version of a game they've already got. I got excited. I love it. It took me a little while to get it, but I've got it here. I've played it a few times. I love the game, and now I'm bringing it to you. So, Clank in Space. If you haven't watched the videos last week, really quickly, it's a deck builder along the lines of Dominion and Harry Potter Hogwarts Battle, and you've got to go and get the artifacts or steal something basically from the monster that is driving the ship, the spaceship. Where this one has its big differences is that all of the cards are kind of pulling on things from sci-fi culture. The basic cards that you get to take every time if you don't want to take other cards are the red shirt guys from Star Trek. They don't use those names because they'd be a breach of copyright, but you know what they are. So if you know anything about sci-fi, you'll notice stuff coming through. There's a heap in that deck that I don't recognise because I'm not a huge sci-fi guy. I'm much more on the fantasy side, but that doesn't matter. I still enjoy this. I like seeing the bits from Futurama coming through, or bits of Star Trek that I kind of recognise. Things like that. That's kind of cool and fun, and that's great. But over and above that, that's just a little kind of raw Easter egg, I guess, for want of a better expression. On top of the core clank mechanisms that go on in the original version, you've also got the problem of you're not able to get to the point where the artifacts are until you've gone and broken into some computers and reprogrammed them. So you've got these 2 extra cubes in your pile that you need to get into a room, put them onto the little spot that's available that sticks off the edge, and you'll either get a bonus or a punishment for doing that. So some of them you're going to take a couple of hits of damage by using them, but other ones which are harder to get to or in rooms that are harder to get to, you'll get a bonus. You might get 5 money or something to that effect. And you need to place 2 of those cubes in different areas of the board before you're able to even get into that end of the end where the artifacts are. On top of that, the boss monster track, as he gets more angry, so as you steal his artifacts and his other items, I can't remember what they're called in this one. In the original it was the dragon eggs, but in this one it's something else that you take, and it makes him angry. As you clear those computers and get your card to be able to get into that end of the ship, that'll make him more angry as well, as it does with the dragon in the base game. But when it gets to a certain point, there's some red cubes. So when he hits that point, red cube goes in the bag. If a red cube gets drawn, it means everyone gets hit. It's kind of the opposite of the black cubes, which mean no one gets hit. The other thing with the red cubes is they go straight back in the bag once they've been drawn. So by the time it gets to the top of the line, there's another 4 or 5 red cubes in the bag that are going to get drawn and kind of affect everyone whenever they come out of the bag. Other things that we have in this game are there's this hyper lift thing in the middle of the board, which as soon as you stand on this end of it, you can go straight to the other end or to any of the spots in between. You have to stop your movement there, but you can move really quickly through the ship. On top of that, there's also these other hyper round things where you stand on this one and you appear over there. You've got to have a pass to be able to use that one. The middle one, not so much. But that can allow you to move through the ship really super fast. It kind of gets rid of some of the problems we had in the base game, the original game, that you're kind of stuck in this little area right at the beginning. On this one, yeah, you start here and you can really quickly do that and spread yourself around the ship. I like that. I like that ability to move really quickly. Every game I've played of this, I've found that I've managed to get to the artifact. I've even been able to get to the really heavy high point artifact and get out. I don't get out first by doing that, but I'll get out because the trip back I found is a lot faster than the trip in. Even though one of the points on the boss monster track covers up that hyperlift in the middle, so you can't take it all the way to the end and just run out really quickly. It actually stops at a stop early, so you've got to actually go through part of the ship to get out. The other big difference that I've found in this one is that there are 4 escape points or escape pods that will give you 20 points for escaping the spaceship. But in the base game, the original game, you're heading back to the same point where you came in. In this one, you're heading to one of the 4 different spots. So if there's 2 of you heading towards the same escape pod, one of you might take it, and the other one's then you have to work really hard to get up to one of the other available escape pods. And it just puts a bit more gameplay into the game itself. And then on top of that, again, there's another huge difference, and this is that idea of factions. So with factions, there's a little corner, top left-hand corner of your cards, or some of your cards will show the faction that your card belongs to. Now, some of the cards will have that icon and some words next to it. And what that means is if you play this card and there's another card of that faction, you'll get the benefit that's written next to the icon. If there's none others, then you won't get that benefit. The cards will do stuff, but there's a bigger benefit if you've got 2 of the same faction coming through. It kind of uses a little bit of the mechanisms I came across in Legendary Deck Builder, where your cards will feed off other cards that are in your current hand of play. There's some really nice changes to the game. I've found it, once again, it's a lot easier to get out, and I've won every game with this one, as opposed to, I think last week I was saying that with Clank, the original game, I haven't won that game yet. Or I might have won it once, I'm not sure. But I find the original Clank a lot harder for me personally to win, but using the same tactics, I can do Sunken Treasure and win that really quickly. I can play the Clank In Space and win that as well. I don't get out first, but I do tend to win that game. I'm not saying challenge me and come and beat me. That's not at all. But I find that this is a lot easier using tactics that I use on all 3 versions. I find this one an easier one to win than the base game. I'm not sure why that is, it just is. I fear that there should be a few more challenges on the way through, and I'm not sure. I'll just go with it and put it out there, place that there, and there it is. You can ponder on that, and if you're playing against me, you can choose which game you want to play according to that little bit of information if you choose. The other thing I really like about Clank In Space, and this goes with all of the versions of Clank, is the boards are double-sided. But Clank In Space has 3 boards that are this shape, and they link together to make up the ship. So there's 3 of them, all double-sided. So I could play 1, 2, 3. I play this side, that side, that. There's a whole bunch of different combinations. And what that means is I haven't done the math on it, but it's not infinite. But there's a large number of combinations of boards to enable you to play. So you're always going to be playing a slightly different game because the board will always look slightly differently. Even if you have the same 3 pieces out, you might find they're in different order. So your pattern, your directions you go to get somewhere are going to be different each time. I really like this game. I was super excited about this. Can I go on record as saying that I am really, really happy that I have not once felt the urge to introduce the game as Clank In Space. So, enjoy that. That's the only time you'll ever hear me doing it. Let's get away from that. Of course, everyone else who has spoken about this has happened to have used that voice because of Pigs in Space or the Muppets. I love the Muppets. I love Pigs in Space. But this is Clank In Space. It's a different thing. I'm on a tangent. I'm going to get off it now. Clank In Space is a good game. If you know Clank, it's worth having Clank In Space as well. If you haven't got Clank, I would suggest just get Clank In Space. Unless you dislike the space theme. If you dislike space theme, I'd go back to the base version or the original version. Both of them are good games. Both of them sit and can coexist on your table really well. I'm having a really large gathering of people, and I think that I might actually pull out 2 versions of Clank, so 8 people can play at the same time. Just one for the noobs and one for the people who want a little bit more of a challenge. That might be fun. We'll see how we go. I might report back. I don't know if it'll happen. They may decide, oh, we don't want to do that. That sounds ridiculous. So, moving on. Go on, watch my videos, get a feel for it. If you have watched the first videos and you know how Clank runs already, I will try to remember to put a little beeper thing on the video that will jump you to where the new stuff comes in. So when you see that, just hit it and they'll jump you through the video past the stuff that you already know. I hope this helps you get Clank In Space to the table. If you have any comments or suggestions, please write them below. If you have any games that you wish to be Gamesplaned, please shoot me an email at thegamesplainer@gmail.com. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at thegamesplainer to see what games I've been playing. Subscribe to my videos to keep up to date with the games that I'm gamesplaining, and until next time, enjoy gaming.